We shift gears now and we look outwards into an area of our church life that we are very pleased to be part of as we support missions around the world and here in our city.
In the Big Sleep for Alabare to raise awareness for the homeless. Hope you can join in too.
Join us at the Big Sleep at home. Let's end homelessness.
Well, it's always been a privilege for us to be involved in local and worldwide ministries, and today to think about our partnership with Alabare. And over these 30 years we've had many connections with them, members of staff, volunteers, and getting stuck alongside with Alabare in Christian care of all sorts throughout Wiltshire. And it's a great privilege to have Andrew Lord with us here this morning. Andrew, you've been with Alabare for a long time, and you're the executive at the moment. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. In your 21 years, what would you say have been some of your highlights?
It's an absolutely wonderful organisation. It's very much, about the people. Each year we serve some 1,600 vulnerable people per year. And I really just wanted to share a couple of stories about a couple of those people, really, with yourselves. The first story, which touched me a couple of years ago, was about a young woman, aged 16, whose mother entered into a new relationship, and she was dropped off at the council offices on her 16th birthday with her clothes in black bags. Yeah, how traumatic that must have been for her. And she stayed with us for about 18 months. And during that time, and she spoke at an Alabare AGM, she was a wonderful, charismatic young person, full of energy, full of life, but she also pushed the rules as well. And she was, at times quite challenging for the staff team. And at the end of the 18 months, she had had too many second chances, and sadly she had to leave the Alabare home. And I remember the staff were absolutely devastated with her leaving. But a couple of years ago we got a letter from her. She thanked the staff for that care, that love they had given her, and her life had moved forward in a very positive way. She'd gone on to university. She was part way through a degree course in art. And her story filled us with great joy, really, to hear that she had overcome the challenges and she had gone forward with her life in a positive way. And it also, it was great for the staff to hear about this progress as well. Another story is about a veteran. He'd had a successful career in the army, and he left the army, life had become difficult, and he found himself homeless. And then he slowly rebuilt his life, and he became a volunteer at Alabare, and now he's a paid staff member within Alabare, supporting the homeless himself. So my 21 years at Alabare is full of these wonderful stories. It's an organisation about people. Yes, we're about ending homelessness, but it's supporting those people on that journey to end homelessness, to rebuild their lives. And I could spend hours this morning talking about many other people as well, but they're just two wonderful examples of the progress that people have made overcoming challenges in their life.
I'm sure you could speak for hours, and that's part of the success and the beauty of that work that you're able to do. But I guess this last year has provided a number of challenges for you through COVID. How has Alabare been able to navigate your way through this last year?
Yes, the last year has been challenging, and if anything, the most recent lockdown that we're in now is more challenging as well. We've seen how it changes the lives of our residents. You know, activities that were done in the community are no longer possible. We've seen the support from other organisations, for understandable reasons, being reduced or withdrawn as well. And this has presented the care and support staff, you know, the care in the homes, with that challenge of how to keep people motivated, busy, when so much is not possible that can be done as well. And those staff have been absolutely superb. At the same time, they've had their own anxieties about COVID, catching it, family members falling sick. You know, some of them have had to go into self-isolation during this period as well. So it has been an immensely challenging time for Alabare, but also for society as a whole.
Yeah. Well, hopefully, as we're coming through this, and hopefully we can see an end in sight. I know that this year you're celebrating 30 years as Alabare. Firstly, congratulations. And so what does that hold? What's the future hold for Alabare? How are you going to celebrate the rest of this year? And how do you see yourself moving forwards?
I think, firstly, we would have liked to have done some very significant, grand celebrations, but you know, COVID has stopped that. But the sleep out video that you showed just a minute ago is still, you know, it's still going to happen. It's going to happen in a very different way. People are going to be doing the sleep out at home. And I was struck the other day, one of our supporters, an 82-year-old gentleman, on his birthday is going to be doing the sleep out from his drafty potting shed. If he raises sufficient money, he will go back inside to his house. But that's just another example of, you know, individuals supporting the organisation. Our work ending homelessness, you know, is ongoing. And yes, we've been very successful over 30 years, but that job is still to be done. That task is still to be completed. And the organisation has a number of innovative schemes that it's looking to do. We want to get off the ground a self-build where a number of veterans will assist in building their own homes. And that's great, they're helping build their own homes. But from our experience of other schemes like this, they've gone on to get great training and then employment as well. So that's one example. But also CORE is actually continuing the core work of the organisation, carrying on supporting that 1,600 people per year. So 30 years, yes, much to celebrate, but much still to do. And I was reading a report this morning that the Church of England has issued on homelessness. And the report said, you know, 8 million people in the UK are in inadequate or poor housing or inappropriate housing. Okay. And that's a staggering number of people. So really, Alabare, the small part it can play, but many organisations, including the churches, we've got a substantial task ahead to improve the housing and support for people.
Oh, Andrew, thank you so much for sharing those things. Thank you for us for an opportunity to be in partnership with you. And we'll be praying for the work of Alabare in just a moment. I just wanted to highlight a couple of notices before Wendy comes to pray. I don't know whether I put the slides in for this, but the Big Sleep is coming up. And there is a little link on the back page. You can find out a bit more about how the Big Sleep at Home works. And also, later on in next weekend, we're going to be having a citywide time of prayer. And I would encourage you to come along and join us, both in the morning, as we have our own aspect of that, but then in the evening, as we join together with Christians throughout the whole city to pray for renewal, pray for breakthrough in so many ways. Wendy's going to come up now and lead us. Thank you so much, Andrew.
Thank you.